This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle, an Odyssey station, which, by the way, you can listen to us on the Odyssey app. There's a lot of cool stuff on the Odyssey app, including exclusive stations, Odyssey exclusive stations that are curated for listeners just like you.
Yeah, so BJ, if you want to go on a road trip, looking, sometimes it's a pain in the ass to make a playlist trying to figure out what you want to do. Just pull up the Rock Road Trip station. Which
sounds good.
Oh, dude, it's got all the great glam metal songs and bands and stuff from the 80s and 90s. I thought it was pretty sweet. And then, obviously, being a fan of the Seattle music scene, there's a great channel called the Seattle Sound, which is all the 90s music from the Pacific Northwest. Bands like Mother Love Bone and Screaming Trees. It's a badass station.
Oh, that's awesome. So these are all Odyssey exclusive stations. You get the app and you get these curated stations just for you. There's a good bunch of them on there too. Odyssey, man, it's got a lot of good stuff on there. Great podcasts. These stations, of course, you can listen to us as well. It's the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Get the Odyssey app today.
Let's play B-Mix. It's time to play the game. Yeah. So everybody scream his name. B-Mix. Don't be a loser. Whoa. B-Mix. You're a loser. It is time to B-Mix. And it's time to turn down for turtles. Ride the turtle.
Have we sold these shirts yet? Please, people, buy them and get them out of the rock shop so that we can do something else.
It's the hottest selling shirt of guys riding turtles and gals ever.
Are you saying hottest selling just because they sold on a hot day, like the hottest day of the year?
I believe we did sell one or two yesterday.
Yeah,
yes.
good call. Yes, exactly.
Okay, fine.
Beat the heat with a totally turtle shirt.
Lovely.
Let's get to our contestant today. We got Shannon in Puyallup. Shannon, are you there?
I am trying to get Shannon. Hold on, let me try it one more time. Shannon, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. How's the weather in Puyallup right now?
Hot.
Yeah.
Okay, good answer.
Steve's just checking to make sure and see how it is.
I gotta go home soon.
Exactly.
It'll be a high of 90 in Puyallup today.
Wow, that's nothing. Boy,
I mean, it's like what, 20 degrees cooler?
Yeah, nearly.
Yeah. Wow. Break out your parka.
Bundle up. Steve, get out of here.
Get out!
For those playing at home, Shannon will have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. Shannon, you can pass all you want, but you will only get 3 guesses per question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Which New England state produces the majority of the country's lobsters?
New Jersey.
No.
Maine.
Yes.
There we go.
The 1982 movie 48 Hours starred Nick Nolte and which comedian?
Mel Gibson.
No.
Can you repeat the question?
The 1982 movie 48 Hours starred Nick Nolte and which comedian?
Pass.
The Cavalier is a car model made by which manufacturer?
Ooh, Chevy?
Yes. Yeah. Which Apollo mission carried Neil Armstrong and his team to the moon?
13.
No.
16.
No.
12.
No. Which Die Hard film also stars Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, pass.
Which basketball move was banned from 1967 to 1976?
Oh, pass.
Which 90s movie popularized the phrase, "You had me at hello"?
Jerry Maguire?
Yeah! And Shannon avoids the deuce and gets 3 correct.
Oh, yeah, but
Ooh,
you've opened
thank
yourself up to some trouble. If somebody, will you take Die Hard 2, 3, or 4, those kind of answers?
No, that's not the name of it.
You didn't ask. You said which Die Hard film. You didn't ask for a name.
Oh, God. Okay, fine. If he says that thing, fine. I don't even care. I'm not even going to argue with you.
Okay, well, I win. It's the Heat. The Heat made me win.
Yeah, you win. Everyone wins. Great.
Oh, Steve, please answer the question. Please answer us the way that he doesn't want you to answer it, please.
I hope I do.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to remember one. Okay, I think I know that one. Oh, great. Steve, are you ready?
I like turtles.
Me too. Woo! Which New England state produces the majority of the country's lobsters?
Maine.
Yes.
Lobster.
The 1982 movie 48 Hours starred Nick Nolte and which comedian?
Eddie Murphy.
Yes. Yep. The Cavalier is a car model made by which manufacturer?
Cleveland.
No.
Nice.
Chevy. Okay, yes. Which Apollo mission carried Neil Armstrong and his team to the moon?
To the moon. Apollo 13.
No.
Apollo 11.
Yes.
That's it.
Which Die Hard film also stars Samuel L. Jackson?
Die Harder?
No.
Oh. Die Hard Part 2?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Die Hard Another Day?
No. Which basketball move was banned from 1967 to 1976?
Slam Dunk.
Yes. Which 90s movie popularized the phrase, "You had me at hello"?
Debbie Does Dallas.
No, no.
Jerry Maguire.
Yes. Who directed the 1972 film The Godfather?
Martin Scorsese.
No.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yes. What is the fourth
job.
letter of the Greek alphabet?
Gamma.
No.
Wait, Delta.
Yep, too late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you win, Steve, 7-3.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Shannon.
It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
nice
very
effort.
welcome. Thanks for playing. Nice seeing her.
Thanks.
You know,
Have a good day.
You too.
Wow, yeah, what? Very polite.
Shannon's very nice.
Ooh, that's a good one, too.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, this will get you going. Oh, yeah. A little faster than a turtle. Man, that keeps going.
It does.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Yeah, so BJ and I were arguing about whether or not I would accept the number if
Okay.
it was Die Hard 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it was, because that's not the name of it. It is not called Die Hard number then colon whatever it is.
You're right.
And so I didn't say what name. I said which Die Hard film.
Yeah, so you could say the second one, the third one, and the fourth one.
I wasn't gonna argue with BJ on this one.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to me on this point.
It's,
So.
no, yeah, because it's kind of right on that. Like if I said it was
I
the
know.
second Die Hard, but if I said Die Hard 2, that sounds like a name to a movie, and that would be wrong.
Yes,
Semantics, of course. but-
Exactly. Yeah. Nitpicking as only BJ can do.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Does anybody know the title of the
No.
Die Hard movie that has Samuel L.
Live
Jackson
Free
in
or
it?
I said Live Free or Die Hard, right?
You did not, but that is not the one. That was the one afterwards.
Die a little harder? I don't know.
Die a little harder.
The Hardest Death?
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really good one too.
I can't remember which one's which, to be honest with you. Like, I've seen all the Die Hards, but I couldn't tell you, like, if you made me watch a movie and didn't tell me the name, I'd be like, I don't know which one this is.
Okay.
Except for the first, of course.
Yeah. The first one had Carl from Family Matters in it as a cop.
Yes.
The second one was in an airport. The third one had a bunch of dump trucks, and then the rest of them I don't know.
Oh, you really know. Okay.
That's pretty impressive.
Actually, I do. Congratulations, Steve. You won.
Good job, Steve.
Thank you.
Wow, there's a Baton Rouge family man. I hate to hear this only because of the fact it's not real, obviously, but they were surprised to find $50 billion mistakenly deposited to their bank account. Oh, man.
Wow.
I mean, it's like finding money, but it really isn't, because if you found it on the ground, it's different. Like, you're like, okay, I got this. But if it's in your account, you know eventually someone's going to figure it out.
Right. You can't even have that moral dilemma of do I keep it? Because eventually whoever put it in the account, right, the bank, is going to figure out a way to take it out. So
Yeah,
you
there's
spend-
a paper trail there.
Yeah, and you spend a dime of that, they're going to still want that money back.
Yeah, his wife-
$50 billion? You think they miss $1 million?
Yeah, that's what I would wonder. It's a good call.
Right.
Except they know they deposited $50 billion, and you'd be giving them $49 billion. Blah 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 blah.
Where were they planning on depositing this $50 billion?
That is a really good question. Just the idea that a bank has that to throw around is like, whoa, all right, bank.
And who's in charge? I'd be like, yo, you really need to, dot the I's and cross the T's. You accidentally deposited $50 billion into some random family's account.
Yeah. And they said this dude, Darren James, was like, my wife showed me, couldn't believe it, never saw that many zeros. We don't know anybody that has anywhere near this kind of money. They screenshotted it just so that they could show their friends. Of course, they called the bank and it got all returned. Unfortunately, I mean, we don't know. We just don't know where it was supposed to go. Like, I think that's a good question, Steve. Like, hey, can you just tell me where that was supposed to go? Who was supposed to get that?
Right. Was it going to the New York Jets or something like that? Like some random, or some company. I just want to know where $50 billion is going.
I suppose that's a privacy violation, but I still want to know.
It was my money for a brief period of time. I want to know where my money is going.
Oh, good call. You know what? You do get a chance to see where your money's going. Yeah, that's a good call.
I would definitely go to an ATM and take out my own money. So that way I'm not having to worry about paying it back. But take out just take a deposit of $20 or something like that, just so I get the withdrawal slip that shows. Because I know they did the screenshot, but I almost want the receipt that shows my account has $50 billion in it.
Frame that baby.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great idea. Man. Well, we're very excited. This announcement, of course, we had earlier in the week, and we're so excited that we're going to actually have him on the show. And that's our new TV analyst for your Seattle Kraken hockey team, JT Brown. He will be with us at 9:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
BJ, I'm very excited to have our next guest on, as he is the first TV analyst in Seattle Kraken history. Please welcome to the show, JT Brown.
Hey, JT, welcome, man.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, dude, we're so pumped. How pumped are you to be a part of the Kraken?
I'm really excited. And finally, it's all out there, no longer a secret. And, my family and I are just looking forward to getting out to Seattle and, being a part of this new organization.
How long was it? We didn't even think about that, JT. How long did you know before we knew?
We had some time, obviously, with, everything that's going on with other announcements and what they're doing, kind of just finding the perfect timing. But, it's been a process, just to get the final contract signed. But it's been a while.
So for you, how did it all work out? Okay, so the team gets announced. When was the moment that you decided? You know what? Did you reach out, or did they reach out to you? Like, how did that all happen? Because with an expansion team, everything just seems so new and so fresh.
Yeah, so it was mainly it's just me and myself and my agent kind of discussing what's next. And I know he always is looking. Not only on the hockey side, but, once your career's done, trying to help you as well. And the opportunity was brought up, and we kind of just discussed and went from there.
And JT, did you ever want to do any broadcasting in your life like that? Did that ever occur to you in your mind while you were playing at any time in your career? Because I'm sure, growing up, you probably watched a lot of, watched hockey on TV. Did you ever think maybe someday I'd like to be that person in the booth?
I think for the most part, you're just focused on hockey. That was the main thing. Obviously, There's things I do on the side that kind of help, I guess, with like streaming and, I guess being out there and also doing a little bit of the DNI stuff that, helps on the other side of the job side of it. But I don't know if it was necessarily I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a broadcaster when I was growing up. But, as I've grown and, played the game, I feel like it's something that, I can learn and become pretty good at.
Yeah, because you have a Twitch channel and you do a lot of stuff on Twitch, and that's it's become its own television network in a sense. I mean, it's no longer just like video games solely. I mean, there's so many different shows and different things that are happening on Twitch. I got to imagine that kind of helped you maybe feel more comfortable in front of a microphone.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously we do our interviews, but I mean, most hockey players or sports players in general will have pretty standard answers for most questions that they can work around. But obviously when, you're streaming back and forth, there's different conversations going on, and, it just helps you get comfortable not only on the microphone, but also on camera.
I find that, for me at least, I was a huge hockey fan, and I feel like the stories get better when the player gets retired. Like when they're still playing in the league, you have to be a little bit more reserved. But once you're retired, you hear some stories, you're just like, oh my gosh, these are some great. Recently, I got to host a NHL Seattle alumni event that was happening, and we had kind of like a hot stove thing where we had a few former players like Jim Taggart and Tanner Glass and a few Jamie Huscroft and a few other guys up there. And some of the stories they were sharing, I was just in tears, including, it was a random one, but I thought it was just such a funny story. Jim Taggart shared a story of when he was playing, there was a goalie on his team that before every game he needed to smoke a cigarette and eat pizza. And I'm just like, that just seems like such a strange combination. Do you have any favorite stories from back when you were playing and like things going on in the locker room that now you're like, oh yeah, I could share that?
I guess not really off the top of my head, but there's always certain people on each team that have weird pregame routines that that catch you off guard. I would say probably, not to name names, but there was a player I played with that he would be ready like full gear, probably like 25 minutes before you go out for warm-ups, which was always a little, we're like, what are you doing? Like most guys are just getting ready to get to, start getting ready at that time, and he's already sitting there full gear in the corner.
And it wasn't the goalie?
It was not the goalie, no.
Okay, because I speak as a goalie. I've been playing, and I get it. We're kind of a weird group of people, so I didn't know if it was the goalie or not.
No, I don't include them because they kind of have their own little category, I would say. For the most part, don't get me wrong. There's gonna be some, I guess not normal, but just less goalie-like goalies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Hey, JT, how do you find any level of excitement that this is the ground floor? This is inaugural. Like there hasn't been somebody before you in this position, and this is a brand new thing for this area. I mean, we had a hockey team that won the Stanley Cup almost a skillion years ago, but we've never had the NHL. Does that add anything to you getting this job, which is a fantastic opportunity for any club?
Yeah, I mean, I think, not having to be replacing somebody, in this position lets me kind of just be myself and not have to worry about, I got to do better than, Joe over here, whoever was before me. So I think that definitely helps. But also, it's exciting to be a part of the new organization just because of all of the firsts that are going to happen. You're going to be a part of that and be a part of kind of, the Seattle Kraken's legacy.
JT, I've been exposed to. I've heard of you, and I'm a really semi-casual hockey fan, but I heard of you because, of course, they went to you a lot during the whole George Floyd situation, and I was very, very impressed with how you were able to speak in a way that it just seemed like it was inclusive of everybody, as opposed to speaking in a way that would basically just create an us versus them mentality. Because, and I was very impressed because I feel like, that is what it's going to take to change anything in the world, is just rallying everybody around, having everybody recognize the situation. And did that play a part? I mean, were they also impressed with how you carried yourself in interviews and in that situation? Do you think that the way you were, did that impress the Kraken people? Because it impressed me when I saw you being interviewed. I'm thinking, this young dude who definitely would have a reason to be pissed off about in this situation is a lot more poised than I am. And I was wondering if that really was something the Kraken noticed.
I mean, I definitely think it did. I tried, obviously, with the Kraken being, at the forefront of diversity and inclusion in hockey and being a leader in this space, that's something else that I can bring as well on top of, I guess, the TV analyst job, being in this community and really being a part and, showing and trying to make this game as inclusive as possible.
I got to ask you about our new coach. We just announced that the Kraken have a coach by the name of Dave Haxtell, who actually we're going to be having on our show tomorrow morning. I was wondering, have you had any interactions with him yet, or any chance to chat with him now that you guys are on the same team?
I have not had the opportunity to chat with him. I'm sure. I mean, I went through it. I mean, his is probably a little bit bigger, but very busy time for him, yeah. I'm sure, right now with a lot of media requests and everything that's going on. I'm sure we'll have a chance to sit down and talk, but, I just know him from playing against him. But, I'm excited for the hire, and I'm excited to see, how everything shakes out.
If you do, I guess we could ask him, but I figure it'll come back better from you. Can you see what he can do? Because he was with the Flyers at one point about stealing Gritty and making him our team mascot, because I feel like he's the perfect mascot for the Kraken.
I mean, Gritty is one of the I would say top ones, but I don't know if that one's going to work.
Have you been enjoying the Stanley Cup Finals, man? I know you played with Tampa Bay, and yesterday they had a big win against Montreal.
Yeah, I watched it last night. I predict them to win. I did predict them to win. Still have it that way. I think Montreal has an uphill battle after what we saw in Game 1, but again, they got a lot of young guys on the Montreal team with some veterans, but Tampa was just in this position. A lot of guys not having played in the Stanley Cup or winning a Stanley Cup. So I think maybe a little bit of nerves in Game 1, and hopefully Game 2 we'll see a different Montreal. I want it to go 7 games personally, just so I'm watching. Have no real vested interest on either team, so 7 games would be fun, but I predicted Tampa to win in 6.
Yeah, always, if my team's not in, I'm always just like, it's 7 games, every game goes to overtime. I'm completely fine with that.
And we're talking.
There's not too many overtimes. Just not too many overtimes.
Seems like
I gotta wake up early with the kids. So if it goes too late, then I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be tired tomorrow.
That's why you got to get over here to Seattle quick, because everything's on the West Coast time. Maybe we get to watch the games a little bit earlier.
There is that.
That is true. That's the one thing when I was in Anaheim. I did enjoy Sunday football because of the time change and when the late games were too. You never really had to worry about how late it was going to go.
And we are talking to JT Brown, who is your new analyst for the Seattle Kraken at Root Sports Northwest. JT, I'm kind of a geeky, and I really sometimes just get really just into the numbers way too much. I was wondering if there's anybody that you know that does the same thing, because I was telling Steve my big issue with this year is the way everything's really shook out because of COVID and everything, was that the Canadians had to play the Vegas Knights. And I really thought, man, if you're Vegas, you're like, we shouldn't have to be playing these guys unless it's the finals. And I don't, sometimes matchups can be a big problem where a team that isn't that good, maybe against a lot of the teams, somehow really matches up well against another team. Does that get in? Did the players get mad about that, or am I the only one that gets mad about that?
I would say the players don't get mad about it. I think they just kind of have whoever's next mentality. You gotta win regardless of who you're playing. And again, I think Montreal they were hot. They were getting hot at the right time. They were playing well at the right time. And sometimes that can be a trouble for anybody.
Yeah, that's good for me. I'm going to take that in my heart to know that the athletes have a better attitude about it than I do. I'm going to try to give myself a little less stress over that. JT, it is going to be exciting to have the Kraken get going. I mean, before I know it,
we got the big expansion draft next month. It's going to be on ESPN. Yeah. That's going to be awesome.
Do you have any thoughts at all, who you would like to see come here, or if you're, I don't know if you're allowed to say if you are, but do you have any thoughts that you might think, man, it'd be cool if we get that guy?
I mean, there's good players on every team, and I think the hard part is not knowing who's going to be protected and who's not. Obviously, you can know some players. Like I would say, when we're just talking about the Stanley Cup, Kucherov is probably not going to be coming, right? Would be a great person to have, but I think the fun part is you don't know until you know exactly who's on that list, and then every team has to give up somebody. There's going to be good players from every team, that are unprotected. And I think, Seattle will do a great job of deciding who, from each team, based on what's available.
And JT, we've got the number 2 pick in the regular draft. Anybody catching your eye that you hope is wearing a Kraken jersey?
I think, I think there's a lot of good players, but I'm trying to, was it
Benier, I think.
Benier, yeah. I don't want to mispronounce. Yeah.
That's the guy. That's who I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I got to remember names and make sure I don't mispronounce. But that's a guy who I think would do well. And I mean, obviously, there's a ton of talented people in this year's draft as well.
Oh, so yeah, I guess that's the thing you forget too. You go, okay, you focus on maybe like the top 5 that people are talking about, but that's a good point. It's almost like it's hard to miss getting a good player when you have that high of a pick.
Hey, JT, a random question
go
for
ahead.
you. I don't know if you did. I know, like, your playing days, you've retired, but are you going to still keep playing hockey? Because I know a lot of guys, like, around here too, like, still do pickup games or drop-ins and things along those lines, or is it something where you're like, I'm just kind of done playing?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't done anything yet, but who knows? Maybe once in a while I'll get the drive to go out and play for a game or two, and then maybe take the back seat for a while.
Well, you're more than welcome to join our beer league team. The Tacoma Donkeys.
There we go.
We'll have a jersey ready for you whenever you're ready to go.
If you need a game or it's an important game or a win, you can phone me up and we'll see what the schedule's like.
Awesome.
I'm not sure the other teams would be very happy with that though.
We'll put you in my jersey. They'll be like, he's not going to be any good then.
That's awesome. I knew where that was coming from.
Dude, I got to recruit. He's a great player.
Why not? Why not?
You got to shoot your shot.
That's great. Well, and if you haven't checked out, JT's Twitch channel, seriously, if you're a gamer, that's the other thing is that, JT, this is a great city for gaming. It is, I know that actually, the Minnesota area, and Minneapolis area too, there's a lot of great gaming up there as well. As a matter of fact, both cities, I think, feel very similar when I talk to people who are from there, and I got some friends there. It seems like Seattle and Minneapolis have a similar vibe, and so I think you're going to be at home if you love gaming. That's for sure.
I think the main difference, you're not having the minus 30 degree weather and the feet of snow at a single time. I don't think I'll miss that part.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm originally from Massachusetts. Steve is from New York, and so and I spent time in upstate New York. So the Rochester, Buffalo area. You're right. I don't miss that at all. You are going to enjoy that. That's a fact.
I'll take rain over snow, I think, any day of the week.
Agreed.
JT Brown, your new voice, the new analyst for the Seattle Kraken TV squad at Root Sports and Root Sports Northwest. JT, thank you for spending time with us, and we look forward to talking to you more as we get closer and closer, man.
Of course. Again, thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, Steve, it's so close. Man.
I know. It's like 22 days, I think, until the expansion draft.
Yeah. Wow. It just gets more and more real the more people that we talk to, like, when we talk to Dave Haxtell. I mean, we talk to radio people. We talk to now the TV people. Then we're going to talk to Dave Haxtell. It just gets, you're like, okay, more and more people, it's happening.
Yep, tomorrow, 7:45, Dave Haxtell, coach of your Seattle Kraken, will be joining us.
Very cool. It is time now for Listeners on the Loose, where you pick the topic, you guide the show. 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. We got more of your calls. Well, actually, we're going to take the first of your calls and texts at 9:36 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
The world needed a safer trampoline. Dr. Keith Alexander, inventor of the Spring-Free Trampoline, wanted to bring the joy of trampolining to his daughter. His wife said they were too dangerous, so he invented his own. Spring-Free Trampoline is the world's safest trampoline, with no springs or hard edges. Now, parents can have peace of mind that their kids are outside jumping safely. To learn more, visit springfreetrampoline.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. It's Listeners on the Loose, brought to you by Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical. Listeners on the Loose, you pick the topic, you guide the show. 206-421-ROCK, text us at 77999. When you call in, follow Steve's rule.
It's a simple rule, BJ. It's to show some energy and bring it. Otherwise, we're going to have to gong you. And then say goodbye.
Goodbye, old friend.
206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999.
BJ, earlier we were talking about just like the watermelon at a barbecue, and Vicky was talking about all the cool stuff that you could put on a watermelon to make it even more tasty. And then one of our someone on Twitter tweeted at us, this is Isa, I believe is her name, and showed a picture of pretty much what Vicky was talking about. And it's like this watermelon cooler from a place called Fire Tacos de Birria. You can't ask me to roll my tongue.
I can't do it right now. I got my braces in.
Dude, this thing looks amazing. It's in Kent.
Whoa.
I'm thinking about swinging by there at some point to get this because, wow. It's just
I know, but I bet that's spicy.
It's a watermelon cooler, but the spicy stuff seems to be like the stuff that you would lick on the rim. So you could probably just not do that.
All right.
And honestly, when you eat it with something like watermelon, it's a nice balance. So you're kind of getting, your water intake, and it kind of flushes it out. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's like a food truck in Kent that just sets up at the same spot somewhere in the Kent area on West Smith Street, and their food looks amazing. But these drinks look next level.
So it's got, is that water? So it's watermelon on top, but it's got like what juice on the bottom?
Yeah, like a watermelon juice drink, but then also chunks of watermelon with all like the seasoning that Vicky was talking about.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then they got another one. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's cucumber lime, which sounds good too, but not on the same level as watermelon.
Yeah, watermelon, that does appeal to me more. I mean, cucumber lime, I don't know yet.
They're called aguas frescas, which translated in English means fresh waters, usually made with fresh fruit.
Oh, but if I go there, can I get the watermelon drink?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fine.
Oh, wait, so fresca. So is fresca always meant fresh the whole time?
Yeah, the word fresca means fresh.
Oh, look at that. I learned something new today. Fresca has been like fresh. We've been drinking fresh.
Fire Tacos is amazing. They have a little trailer set up right across the street from the library in Kent.
All right, look at Fire Tacos making it happen.
Well, that's somewhere I'm going to have to swing by. I'm definitely going to have to try a taco for science, but...
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But mainly just to get this watermelon drink. That looks amazing.
This is a good plan, Steve.
You love watermelon.
I do.
I support this. I'd be interested to hear what you think of Vicky's concoction.
Well, I don't know if they do it exactly how she does it, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, at least it's something. It seems similar anyway. Because I never think of putting anything in my watermelon. I feel like just having it straight's the way to go. But Vicky's trying to change my mind.
We got a text about hockey. As a half Canadian, I've been a fan of the Vancouver Canucks my entire life, and I can't wait for a division rival with the Kraken. What's your most anticipated matchup for the Kraken? For me, can't wait to see the Canucks and Kraken go at it at Rogers Arena. Yeah, definitely. I think Kraken Canucks is going to be the one that's most exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely going to start. It'll take a little bit, I would think, at least for other teams to do it. I remember when we went to the NFC. It took a little while, but now, you know what, we hate those Rams, we hate those Niners, and we thought, because we used to hate the Broncos and the Raiders and the Chiefs, and you know what, it takes a while, but yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
That one, I think, so Kraken Canucks, of course, and also I think the Kraken and the Vegas Knights, just because that's the last expansion team.
Oh, yeah, good call.
And they're also, the proximity is not that far away. Obviously, there's all the California teams, too, but there's something about the Knights, I feel like, will be, because they're already going to be a little bit of a measuring stick, whether you want it to be or not. They've been very successful, almost, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals again. I mean, and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first season.
We already have a little issue with California, so I think the Sharks and Ducks are going to definitely be teams that we probably will want to love to hate.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I forgot the Kings. You're right.
We got a lot of teams to hate, BJ. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
We can hate them all.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we can kind of hate the Coyotes since we were tempted with them so many times.
We were teased with them a few times, absolutely. We hate everyone.
Yeah, you know
We're
what?
The Seattle Kraken.
This is a good plan.
That could be a great shirt. We hate your hockey team, and then with the Kraken logo.
Oh, nice. That's right. That's a good call. All right,
not going to happen. They seem way more nice than.
Well, you can start partying them. No one will notice until it's too late.
Someone want to know: is it normal to feel nervous about becoming a parent? I think it'd be weird if you weren't nervous.
Yes.
You're just like, I totally got this. Don't worry about nothing.
Right? You're bringing a human being into the world.
There, and was difference between number 1 and number 2 is amazing. And then I've never had a number 3, but everyone I've known who's had a number 3 or a 4, it is almost like by the time you get down to that, you go, oh yeah, we're having a kid. Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like having
let them figure it out on their own. We're not going to parent them.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing, that number 1. It is, and I haven't known anybody that hasn't been nervous.
I was terrified. I mean, still am at times. Like, I remember one time I was having nervous breakdown just about like money. And I'm like, then we got to save them for a car. I mean, they're going to want this. They're going to want a cell phone. And my wife's like, she's not even born yet. And you're already worrying about things that happen like after the age of 12. Like, you've got plenty of time to worry about those things. But that's just like, you start getting overwhelmed by that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. And it's it's cool to have someone tell you, dude, yeah, all those things may happen, but not right now.
Right, they will happen, but we don't need to worry about a car just yet.
Dude, you don't know if she's going to need a cell phone. We might have chips in our head by then. You have no idea.
I hope they're cheaper than cell phones. If so, then I'm all for it.
All right, there you go. Yeah, listen, if you'll all be on the same plan. Well, you'll be basically into each other's thoughts. That'll be okay.
So since you talk about all the shows that your daughter likes to watch, has she watched Coco Melon yet?
Coco Melon.
Oh man, the look on your face. The look on your face ain't good.
It's tough, bro. Coco Melon has quickly become her favorite. To the point where I actually even got a text today from my wife because my wife's trying to do some stuff, but Tam sometimes is just being demanding, and she's like, "Thank God for Coco Melon. You put it on, and it's like crack." This child just stares at Coco Melon for however long it's on. But dude, as an adult, it's the worst show ever. It's nothing fun about it. It's just nonstop singing nursery rhymes and this weird animation. And then sometimes they just create their own songs. But the songs, like they're just stupid. It's like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. How about some broccoli? That faux show. And that would actually be better. I'm just trying to make it right.
That's actually pretty good.
And then it's like, eat the broccoli, yum, yum, yum. It's like they're just like making up songs as they go along.
Oh, welcome.
I don't know if
Finally, you've found your Barney. I was wondering if you'd ever find your generation's Barney.
Coco Melon deserves a punch in the face. But you know what? At the end of the day, it helped. When you need a moment and not to be worried about what she's doing, I got to quickly make dinner, I got to do this or the other thing. You put Coco Melon on, and it's just like the world stops for her.
It's bittersweet. It is bittersweet, isn't it? You hate it, but it also shuts her up for a little bit.
Yes.
This sounds like a banger here.
Today is the day, it's the first day of school. So many new things to learn and do.
Oh my God!
I'm so excited,
Right?
but nervous.
Okay, stop
It will be okay.
And then the kids laughing in the background just make. Oh God, help us!
Oh my gosh, they have a Coco Melon mascot costume.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I almost want to get that for like a rave, and then you'll figure out really quickly which ravers are parents because they'll start running. Like, no,
wow!
I'm here to get away from this little person.
And the thing is, Coco Melon is legit everywhere. Like, my little brother finds it on YouTube. It's on Netflix. It's on the Roku network thing they have. It is everywhere.
Someone said try Bluey. Oh yeah, Bluey's awesome.
So cute.
At first we weren't feeling Bluey, but Bluey's grown on us, and Tatum likes that one. But no show gets her so invested as stupid Coco Melon.
It's starting. This is the first thing she's doing to annoy you with her choices. It's starting.
But sometimes like you said, it's a necessary evil. So it's a love-hate relationship with that.
Barney was the same way. I hated Barney so much.
You.
And Sarah was so loving Barney. And luckily, Joe was old enough that he could be like, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard of. And I'm like, son, this is why you'll always be my favorite.
Wow. You should ever try Coco Melon, see how Sarah likes it or not.
Oh, God. I mean, Barney was, and Sarah just loved it. And she would sing the song and I'm like, okay, I mean, I want to love my daughter, but she's singing the evil song again. Yeah, and now you got it with Coco Melon. All it took was one here, and I'm like, yeah, I am so happy I am not a grandparent right now. Because if I had to hear that, I might just go give the kid away.
Sarah, go get pregnant now.
Because I feel like every generation's going to, like you said, there's the Barney, there's the Coco Melon. I'm sure there's something in between that. Teletubbies. It's probably something that's going to be coming up sometime in the very near future that's equally as annoying.
Oh, yeah. Well, congratulations, Steve. I thought you were lucking out. I really was like, wow, everything she seems to like, Steve's kind of digging. I'm like, man, that's pretty lucky. And then finally, Coco Melon hits.
Every other show I've enjoyed. 100%. Someone just said, Steve, my 3-year-old's in the car, and when you played that going back to school song, he just yelled, "It's my song." I feel your pain, Steve. I feel your pain.
Oh, my God. It's my song. It's like I would turn around, and you're not my son. Whoa. Well, okay. That might be a little harsh. Instead, I'll just, all right.
You're not my son.
I'll just.
I still want my child to be my child, whether or not she likes Cocoa Melon.
Oh, I would take that kid like an AI and drive him to the forest. There you go, Haley Joel Osment. Walk home. Okay. No, too soon? Okay, fine. Sorry. Hey, here's a big question for you. What do Ryan Castle and Samuel L. Jackson have in common? I'm going to tell you at 9:50 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW. And now, the Ryan Castle question of the day.
What do Ryan Castle and Samuel L. Jackson have in common?
It's got to be my potty mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I thought it might have been the snake on the plane, but I think you're right. It's the potty mouth.
Well, many texters said that Steve likes both of their snakes while on a plane.
Oh, that's it.
I don't know that you and I have flown together.
We were gonna, and then thanks
that's
COVID,
right.
we were going
That's
to
right.
Oakland to see Pearl Jam.
Yeah, we're going to
That's
Oakland
right.
for Pearl Jam.
For a bromance.
Yeah.
That day will come back.
It better.
It'll come back. We'll do it. We'll do it.
So how about Samuel L. Jackson has only been ever nominated for one Oscar, which is unbelievable to me. And it was for Best Supporting Actor in Pulp Fiction back in 94. But I think the Academy is like, yeah, that's really wrong. And so they're deciding to give him an honorary Oscar next year.
For his Capital One commercials, of course.
That's what it
So
is.
he's getting a participation trophy, basically.
Or is it a make-em-up? Because,
I think it's a make-em-up.
Yeah, Hollywood's been under fire for really not recognizing, in a lot of ways, African Americans.
Okay,
and
fair.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what this is, because it feels like they virtually ignored him for 30 years.
It'd be great if he curses them out, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that would be
MFers.
an awesome. Oh, I'm excited. Ryan Castle, he's got a 12-pack. He's up next.
BJ and Migs play of the day.
Renovating your home was number 2. Anybody else do anything that they go, oh, this is a big life change for me?
Well, it's something I noticed a lot of my friends are doing, and it's something my parents did.
Oh, never mind.
Your parents are doing that?
Something I'm doing.
Wow, that is a big life change, though, Steve. I mean, Vicky, the OnlyFans
Side
page, I think
hustle.
I think it's a big life change.
Is that number 6 or number 9 on this list?
Nice.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. If I file for bankruptcy, do I have to appear in court? That makes me nervous.
Going to court is never something that's easy to do. However, when you file bankruptcy, you usually only have to attend one hearing at the courthouse. Of course, I'll be there with you. And when you go to court, it's not before the judge. It's actually with the trustee or the trustee's attorney. One of the things that's critical in a bankruptcy is that you give your attorney and the court all of your information. You list all of your assets and all of your creditors. That's what we're trading for your discharge, is your true and honest disclosure of your assets and liabilities. And so the court hearing is just usually about a 5-minute deal where you show up and reaffirm and swear that all the information you've given the court and your attorney is correct.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.